In particular, that means that low-income disabled Americans, will soon see a premium spike. And that's concerning in particular because if you have a disability, you're twice as likely to live in poverty. We have very, very high rates of unemployment and unemployment in our community as compared to those without disabilities. And that's why we truly need affordable health care, and the access is so critical and life-saving. The Affordable Care Act has truly been a life-changing law for countless people with disabilities across our nation. And losing these subsidies may place these people living at the edge in the impossible position of not having health care, which can be very dangerous, particularly if you have a disability. We know that some people may decide to forego health care or skip medications, which again can have a cascading impact and further exacerbate their disabilities. So again, I want to thank Senator Durbin for raising this crucial issue facing millions of Americans, and that we urge a speedy resolution to this looming healthcare crisis. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Senator Durbin.
Let's see if I can get this right. It's a miracle. Is that good? I want to thank the folks at Access Living for letting us come by this morning to make these announcements. I want to basically have three things I want to mention. First is the SNAP program. 2 million Illinoisans receive SNAP benefits, or food stamp as it was historically known. That program is in danger, and the question as to whether or not the payments are going to be made. This decision will ultimately be in a courthouse today, Friday, that will decide the benefits being paid over the weekend. So it's a last-minute decision. This doesn't have to be the case. The last time the Trump administration in its first term had a government shutdown, they made payments on SNAP all through the shutdown. As of 2 weeks ago, they were still announcing on their website that they had an emergency contingency fund to cover the SNAP program. They decided a few days ago to take that language off of their website, and now they're arguing just the opposite in court. Too many people depend on SNAP benefits. It's $6 a day for food. 1/3 of the people receiving it are, as Karen mentioned, disabled. 1/3 are senior citizens, and 1/3 are children. We can't deny them food. We should not do that. I hope that the Trump administration will have second thoughts about discontinuing this program. Second, excuse me. The second point I want to raise is been raised by Governor Pritzker. I join him in begging the ICE agents to leave the kids alone at Halloween. For goodness sakes, what happened at Old Irving Park a week ago is an embarrassment, and those kids will never forget the tear gas and the efforts of the ICE agents to disrupt a Halloween parade. If you're looking for terrorists and murderers and rapists and the criminally insane, you don't start on a trick-or-treat excursion by kids or Halloween parades. I joined with Governor Pritzker in saying, for goodness sakes, show a little humanity to these ICE agents. The third issue is one that's going to affect people personally, and it relates to the shutdown in general. Most people in Illinois have health insurance. Those who are self-employed, farmers and others, go to the Obamacare provisions that were created over 10 years ago. It's a marketplace called getcovered.com. Each year they announce what's likely to be the premiums for health insurance next year. Those notices are going out in the mail now. People are receiving them every single day in Illinois. And here's what they're telling us. Health insurance premiums are going to nearly double in northern Illinois and triple in downstate Illinois. It's going to be a real hardship for families to pay these health insurance premiums. Why do I raise this issue? That's what's at stake in this debate in Washington over the future of the government funding. We believe that we need to act on this and do it now. It's an emergency situation for many families. Yesterday I spoke to the director of insurance in Springfield, Ann Gillespie, and asked her what she thinks the impact will be. She tells us there are 500,000 people in Illinois under the Obamacare insurance plans, 500,000. She thinks 30 to 40% of them will drop their coverage because of this dramatic increase in premiums. How did this dramatic increase happen? Some of it is inflation, but most of it was a conscious political decision by the Trump administration to eliminate the subsidies and tax credits for families that are using Obamacare insurance. That, unfortunately, is going to have a negative impact on premiums all across our state and across the nation. We believe we have to act on this. The Republicans have answered by saying we'll get around to it later. Later is not good enough. It's an immediate problem, and it's one that families have to make decisions. What's wrong with not having health insurance? Well, several things for sure. I've been in that situation, and it's a terrible feeling to be a father of a child who's sick and not have health insurance. I lived through that. I'll never forget it. And I have to say this. People without health insurance put off going to the doctor in the hospital. They get worse, they have more serious problems, more complex, and when they finally, in desperation, go to a hospital, that hospital is not receiving compensation for their care. So it's a spiral that is not positive for health care in this state. We're going to lose hospitals and clinics and nursing homes because of these decisions when it comes to Medicaid and health insurance. That's exactly the wrong thing. People need the protection of health insurance. Jessica is the next speaker. She's going to spell her name and be prepared. Take it away.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. My name is Jessica Kazanewski. Thank you for having me here today. I have Kazaniwskyj. Thank you. I am a small business owner of Kazanewski Coaching and the founder of a nonprofit, Rise Beyond Your Roots, which focuses on early childhood educators. As a small business owner and someone who works closely with early childhood education every day, I see firsthand how crucial healthcare subsidies are, not just for individuals, but for the stability of the entire community. When we talk about healthcare, we're not just talking about insurance, we're talking about peace of mind. We're talking about the difference between a parent being able to take their child to the doctor without fear of debt, or an educator being able to afford their own prescriptions and still make rent that month. Right now, with the cost of everything rising, groceries, gas, rent, utilities, even the cost of running a business, family and educators are already stretched to their breaking point. Losing healthcare subsidies would only make that worse. It's not sustainable, and it's not going to help anyone climb out from the economic pressure. Without these subsidies, many families will lose access to critical prenatal care, mental health services, and ongoing mental care support. That doesn't just affect one household, it impacts entire communities and future generations. Our early childhood educators are already underpaid and overworked. If healthcare becomes unaffordable, we risk losing even more of these incredible professionals. That means fewer classrooms, higher turnover, and more instability for children during their most formative years of care. When educators can't stay in the field, parents lose reliable childcare. When parents lose childcare, they can't go to work. And when small businesses lose employees and customers because families are struggling to make ends meet, the entire economy struggles. Healthcare subsidies help keep that system balanced. They allow people to focus on their purpose and not their panic. And this also comes at a time when Governor Pritzker is making enormous efforts to attract and retain early childhood educators in the state of Illinois. But without affordable health care, that goal becomes nearly impossible. You can't build strong workforce when the people doing the work can't afford to stay healthy. Supporting healthcare subsidies isn't just about coverage, it's about stability, retention, and community well-being. When we support educators and small business owners, we strengthen the foundation of our economy and the future of our children. And right now, Congress has a choice to make. Will they stand with the communities like Senator Durbin has done? Will they stand with the educators who shape our children's earliest years? Will they stand with small business owners who drive local economies? Or will they look away while families shoulder yet another burden they cannot afford? We must hold Congress accountable to extend health care and protect the people who make this country function every single day. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?
Senator, as you probably know, President Trump is calling to end the filibuster to get the government back open. What do you think of that?
I think it's a bad idea. And I tell you, John Thune, the Republican Senate leader, has said unequivocally, repeatedly, he is opposed to that approach to the Senate procedure. We need to work these problems out between us, and some compromise will have to be shown on both sides. But naturally, Trump, now that he's returned from his overseas assignments, has a quick and easy, he considers easy solution. It's not. I do. I tell you, I'm more hopeful today than I was a week ago, because when I returned, I found that members, Democrats and Republicans, are meeting. I've been through this. I think I've been through every shutdown in modern era politics, and it takes members outside the leadership to sit down and try to find a solution. And that is underway. I don't know how far along it is or whether it's promising or not, but the fact that it's happening is encouraging.
What are you hearing from your Republican colleagues? Especially, are they starting to get pressure from their own constituents?
They're hearing the same thing we are. People are frustrated with the shutdown and the impact it has on lives. There are people who are working in the Senate and not being paid at all. And there's a real question about air traffic controllers, for example. Will they show up at work? So, Republicans who are honest about it privately say, this is a mess we've got to solve, and I agree with them.
Switching topics to the DHS and ICE agents using AI technology, facial technology recognition to find and detain people. What do you have to say to supporters of the usage of AI technology, saying that it streamlines kind of who ICE agents are, who they're targeting? Do you think there's any benefit to using that kind of technology here in Illinois? Just your comments on it.
That's a basic question we need to tackle. Technology has moved us to a point where intrusion into a person's personal privacy becomes as easy as videotaping them as they walk down the street. And I'm concerned because the decisions that have been made by courts have basically said that profiling is acceptable. Profiling is acceptable to them, not to me. And to use this new technology to take it to a new level, I think is dangerous for a society that values freedom and democracy.
And could you comment about Broadview and the discussion about it being inhumane in that facility and kind of the pressure that has now been put with the lawsuit?
That was never designed as a detention facility. It was, over the years, and I've been in it over the years, it was a temporary shelter for people who were being sent to the airport in a matter of hours to be deported. And I used to go there on Friday mornings and meet up with a couple of Catholic nuns, and we would go inside and talk to the folks who were leaving, try to give them some encouragement at a tough point in their life. I never envisioned that as a detention facility. There weren't enough cells, there weren't enough restrooms, it didn't make sense, but that's what's happening. I have to tell you, my only knowledge of that is secondhand. They won't let me in. They won't answer questions. They literally will not tell us who's there and how long they've been held. Every single day our office gets a call from people saying, we've lost a parent, we've lost a brother, a sister. Can you find out where they are? And we spend hours and hours calling, trying to find out. Some of them are in Broadview, and they're being kept in a secret location, taken by masked men off the street. Does that sound like America?
And for Halloween, do you know, is there going to be a movement by the state to kind of co-handle trick-or-treaters? Is there any way to kind of clean out federal agents?
I don't think that's
disrupting?
practical. I don't think that's practical. Thousands of kids with their parents walking up and down the streets, and one of the most fun experiences of a family, a happy day, and now the ICE agents have not said they're going to at least stand down during this period. That's cruel. That's unnecessary. This is part of their reign of terror. That's what they're trying to do, scare the living hell out of people, particularly Hispanics who live in the city of Chicago. We don't need that. In fact, we ought to all stand up and say enough when they do something like this. Any other questions? Okay. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
You
Appreciate
bet.
it.
You bet.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're Ukrainian and
Hopefully get, actually my family, just a couple of choir members just got taken by ICE, and they're in Michigan, and their court date isn't until December. Yeah. They've been here 20 years, but they missed keeping up with their visas, which they should have, I get that, but yeah, they were taken, so, yeah. So, yeah.
Are they Hispanic?
No, they're Ukrainian. Yeah, but there's a lot of the families that I work with getting calls every day because I'm from Hispanic communities that. Yeah, Oh, yeah. I took rosaries to the Broadview Center, and they wouldn't let me bring them in. Yeah, because they're not allowing them to receive communion, and so many Hispanics are Catholic.
Yeah.
And so I figured we had Spanish rosary
They used to
packets,
have 10
and
nuns who prayed the rosary on Fridays.
so they wouldn't let me in with them. Yeah. So yeah,
Um,
I don't envy your job, but I'm glad that you're doing it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
A lot of people
Keep
coming.
up the fight,
You too.
okay? Yeah, you're doing great.
Keep up your strength too.
Yeah, we will.
No, really.
We will. This is good. Yeah. Yeah, this is Ashley.
Hi,
Senator
Ashley.
Durbin. I'm the Director of Communications here.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Ashley.
Thank you so much for being